the students of the Dr. Martin Luther King Pennsylvania 21st Century Learning Center, the Bonners, mentors, community members, parents, Pirate fans, Meadville Tribune, and also Armstrong Cable, as well as Mr. Jim Shields of Forever Broadcasting. To our event today, the Pirates Caravan. This is a great opportunity to have the Pirates Caravan join us today, and at this time, I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Joe Kilmchek.
All right. How you guys doing today? Good? Nice to see you. It's great to be here in Meadville. I spent a lot of time in Grove City, which is not too far from here, but I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. Lifelong Pirate fan. Anybody else here Pirate fans? I hope we have some here today. Yes, okay, cool. Are there some Cleveland fans here? I'm just curious. Are there? There are, okay.
Like the TV show.
Well, it's great to be here. My job with the Pirates, I'm the in-game host. So if you come to a game at PNC Park, I'm the guy on the video board that plays the games between innings, the box of mystery, that kind of stuff, hosting the pregame ceremonies in the field, coming into my 16th season of doing that. But we're here today, and we didn't come empty-handed. I have some friends here with me today. We actually have members of the Pittsburgh Pirates roster and staff. This is the start of our Pirates Caravan, and Meadville Middle School is our first stop. How about that? So we're going to roll right in. I want to introduce to you members of your 2020 Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's hear it for Pirates pitcher Jeff Hartley.
He's not on the list.
Jeff. Jeff.
Yes.
Pirates pitcher Nick Birdie. How's it going? Good. Pirates first baseman Will Craig is here today. How's it going? A couple of Pirate coaches too. Pirates third base coach, former All-Star, former World Series champion Joey Cora is here today. And a new face wearing the black and gold this year. You may know him actually as the manager of the Erie Seawolves last year. Anybody go to the Seawolves game last year? He's the manager. He's Mike Robello, our assistant. All right. Well, I have a question for you guys before we start here. Actually, it's as we start. We're talking middle school here, so what grades do we have here today?
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th, okay, because middle school can mean different grades, different schools. 7th and 8th, okay. So how many of you guys, I'm just curious, have a dream job in mind right now? As you sit there, you're like thinking, like, you know, if I could do that, that would be it. I saw someone, or I saw something that made me say, yeah, if I could do that for a living, that would be my dream job. Anybody? Raise your hand. I'm just curious. Some of you have that in mind already? Okay. I won't call on you. How about you guys, real quick? I know you guys always probably at one point dreamed of, oh, I'm sorry, Elise is here too. Elise Hartley. Elise is Jeff's wife. So you guys always obviously dreamed of playing baseball at one point. I'm just curious at what age that was. We'll go right down the line. So Jeff, how about you? When did you start thinking about baseball?
I started playing when I was 4, and I probably really got into it when I was not till about 19 years old, honestly. But
19?
Yeah.
You were kind of a hooper too. You played some basketball? Yeah.
That was what I was doing. That's what I first loved. So
Okay.
a little later for me, but I definitely started loving the game when I was young.
Okay, yeah. How about you, Nick?
I'd say like right around like 16, 17.
16, 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was really set on playing football all through high school, and then was actually starting to get recruited by some schools for football, and totally baseball took off in a different direction, and kind of fell in love with it around like my junior year of high school, and just started kind of growing towards that, and then kind of left football behind, and now I'm playing baseball for a living.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, some people say like if you're not decided right now, I mean, not to worry, you'll find your thing. It's a great example right there. Will, how about you?
I was about 3 or 4 when I started playing, and I'm different than him. I fell in love with like playing all the time when I was 8. So I was really young when I started playing. I played all 3 sports all the way through high school. Well, 2 sports, and then I got cut from basketball. But yeah, I started playing baseball, focusing most of it now. I was about 8.
Okay. How about you, Joey?
I was very young. I was 4 years old when I started playing baseball. And, you know, all my family, they always been into baseball. I love basketball too, but I want to be a center in the basketball team or something. I don't know what happened. They didn't want me to play center. So I turned into baseball the whole time.
Nice. And you, Mike?
Similar to all these guys, played all of them growing up, and then just found my way playing baseball. I was tired of getting hit in football, didn't like getting hit, and not tall enough to play basketball. And then, you know, baseball was the route that I took, and been working it ever since.
Love it. All right, thanks for sharing that, guys. Well, as Will said, like, getting cut from a team, I got cut from every sport. So my dream job, I discovered it when I was 7 years old. 7. It was clear. I went to my first Pirates game. As I said, I was a lifelong Pirate fan, grew up in Aliquippa, and I went to Three River Stadium for the first time. That's the ballpark before PNC Park. And when I walked in, it was just like magic to me. It was the bright green turf. It was the sound of the organ. It was the big video board. It was the smell of nachos and beer, believe it, and you could smoke in the ballpark, cigar, all that. It was just I just loved everything about the ballpark. I just loved that atmosphere. And then I heard the sound of the public address announcer come over the sound system. And I was like, oh my goodness, like somehow, some way, that's the job I have to have. I need it. Don't just want that job. I need that job. So from the age of 7, I either wanted to do 2 things, be a Pirate announcer or a game show host. And now I'm hosting game shows at Pirate games. So for me, I do have my dream job. But here's the thing. On the way to any dream job, there are sometimes some barriers. There are some obstacles. And I had to overcome those. One, I was bullied in school. I wasn't one of the cool kids, didn't have the cool clothes. And of everybody in my class, there were almost 200 kids in my class, only one needed remedial speech training. And that was me. My mom actually saved that form from when I was 10 years old. It's an intermediate unit form. Reason for assignment, poor articulation. I had a bad lisp, couldn't say my S's right, and I generally just garbled all my words. So I had to overcome that, plus the bullying, and it was not easy. But I was so focused on it, I wanted it so bad that I did little things every day to get closer to that dream. But the barriers I had to overcome were small potatoes compared to what some baseball players at the end of the 19th century had to overcome. And we're going to present to you a little Negro League presentation today. You guys know much about the Negro Leagues? Have you studied that at all? A little bit about baseball in the Negro Leagues? We're going to talk about that today, and it's a presentation that was put together by a member of the Pirates staff. I'm kind of pinch hitting for him because he's at another caravan stop today, but I had a chance to kind of dive in and learn more in the last week, and it's fascinating. It is. Some of the best baseball players of all time played in the Negro Leagues. So gentlemen, if you guys want to take your seats to the side, we'll kind of start this presentation here. Baseball started in the mid-1800s. That's when they kind of finalized all the rules. They decided, okay, we're going to play this game on a diamond. There are going to be 3 strikes and then you're out. There are going to be foul lines. And then late in the 19th century, games, teams, and leagues started sprouting up everywhere. Everybody wanted to play this amazing game of baseball. Do we have any guys that just love baseball here? You guys just like fixed on baseball? Some of you guys, yeah, you can understand. Like the game was just invented and they're like, wow, let's get out and play. And there was actually a gentleman by the name, if we can advance, am I advancing it? Okay, sure. Let's see, I'll try this arrow. Oh, that's not it, let's see. Up?
Space bar.
Okay, maybe it is this, okay, oh it is. Got it, okay. Right, so like I said, there were teams sprouting up all over the place. And many of them were white teams. There were a lot of African Americans playing baseball, but most of the organized teams were full of white baseball players. But there were a few African Americans that snuck onto those teams. And one was by the name of Bud Fowler. Has anybody heard of Bud Fowler? I had not heard of him until I actually started. You have. That's great. He is regarded generally as the first African American professional baseball player. Now, who do we normally associate that distinction with?
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, right. Jackie made his debut April 15th, 1947. That was after segregation, when African Americans were not allowed to play. He broke that color barrier. But before formal segregation, Bud Fowler was the guy that actually played on a team, a white professional team in Newcastle, just 30 miles from, right, 45 miles from here. And he bounced around from team to team. He was an amazing player. Played catcher, could do it all, run fast, smart player, strong. Played a lot of second base too, and he's actually credited with inventing the shin guards, because here's the thing, Bud Fowler had to overcome a lot of stuff, not good stuff either. When you're the only African American on a white baseball team and you're visiting different towns, he faced a lot of racism. He did. A lot of people calling him names, and a lot of white players who played against him taking shots at him. Verbal shots and physical shots too. If he's playing second base and he's going to make a tag, everybody's going in hard to Bud Fowler. That's why he actually had wooden little boards cut that he would wear on his shins. Nobody had ever worn shin guards before that. They credit Bud Fowler with kind of inventing the shin guards because he was wearing wooden slats so he wouldn't get spiked every game. So Bud Fowler, definitely a big part of African American baseball history. The gentleman on the right here, his name's Cap Anson. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. One of the greatest players of all time. First 3,000 hit professional baseball player. He hit 300 in 20 of 22 seasons. Mike Rubello, is that good or not? That's fantastic. You take a 300 hitter, yes?
Yeah, pretty good.
In a couple seasons, let alone 20 out of 22 seasons. He broke all the records. He was an amazing player. But what was not so good about Cap Anson was that when he was playing, he wanted to always be the best. And when his team started playing some teams full of African American players, he didn't stand out as much. He was great against other white baseball players, but the African American players, they were so good. They were so good. In spite of all the barriers they had to overcome, they were faster, stronger, they were so skilled, they were smart, they were just doing all these great things that they made Cap Anson look pretty regular, pretty average actually. And Moses Fleetwood Walker was one of those players that was just exceptional. And Cap Anson actually said, you know what, he later in his career, he became not just, he was just a great baseball player, but he became a manager and kind of in an upper management position. He said, you know what, I'm not playing any games. My team's not playing any more games against African American players. I want them on the field. That's not going to happen. I don't play baseball if there's an African American on the field. Is that terrible or what? Can you believe that actually existed? But that was his rule. That was his rule. And eventually, sadly, owners of other teams kind of bought into that. And there was a gentleman's agreement right at the turn heading into the 20th century where all the owners were kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll go along with that. We want this to be a white professional baseball league only. And African Americans, you're on your own to play baseball elsewhere. They called it the gentleman's agreement because it was really never written. It wasn't actually in writing, but that's the way it was. So African Americans had to find their own games, and they did, luckily. They could have said, oh, great, no, they could have felt bad for themselves and said, well, whatever, we'll just do our own thing, or find other jobs, work in factories. But they loved baseball so much. It was their dream. Again, they didn't just want to do it, they needed to do it. So they did it. And they were fantastic at it. Their style of play was amazing. They were selling out ballparks left and right. They were playing some of their games in ballparks owned by white professional baseball owners who were concerned all about money. They were like, you know what? They're drawing these huge crowds. Yeah, they can play my ballpark, but they can't play against my white team. How about that? But they were fantastic. They played baseball at such a high level. This guy, he's a Baseball Hall of Famer. Andrew Rube Foster. Anybody ever hear of him? He was a great player in his own right, but then became a great manager. And then it was Andrew Rube Foster who was regarded as the father of the Negro League. He decided, you know what, we have all these great players playing on some really good teams. Okay, they're not going to let us play in the white professional league. Let's start our own league. Let's start our own league. And it's not going to be like a second-rate, like, amateur league. It's going to be as good as the major leagues. Maybe even better. So that's how the Negro National League was formed. February 13th, 1920 is when it was formed. We're coming up on 100 years. It's like we were weeks away from a 100-year anniversary. Yes, if my math is right. Yeah. How about that? The Negro National League, 100 years ago. Rube Foster, Hall of Famer, he started it all. And the Negro League continued. Again, started in 1920. through the Great Depression. Again, lots of teams set up their own leagues. The first Major League Baseball All-Star game was played in 1933. The first Negro League All-Star game was played in 33 as well. They had two leagues, the East and the West. They had an All-Star game. They had a World Series. And it extended all the way, the Negro National League, through 1960. It started to fade a little bit when Jackie Robinson broke that color barrier. When Jackie came into the big leagues, and we had actually had a first of African-American player playing in the big leagues, then more players were accepted into the Major League Baseball, and there were fewer stars in the Negro National League. So that's how it kind of faded. But it's lasted for a long time, as you can see. Two of the best Negro League teams of all time are from just 80 miles south of here in Pittsburgh, the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Between the two, I think they combined for 13 league championships, 3 World Series titles in the Negro National League, most of them captured by the Grays, but the greatest team of all time was put together by the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Some amazing names. Can anybody name any of those names? I'm big about asking quiz questions, giving away prizes. I can find prizes for you. Can anybody name anybody that was on Pittsburgh Crawfords? Anybody know that? Anybody? There were 4 Hall of Famers on that team, actually. Guys like Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson and Judy Johnson. Their manager was Oscar Charleston. It's an amazing team. We're actually going to hear more about each of those individual players from some of you guys. We're going to actually do a little interactive thing with you students here in a second. But just know that Pittsburgh was known as the cornerstone of Negro League Baseball because of these two teams, the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. As I said, the style of play in the Negro National League was just out of sight. Again, fast, flashy. These guys made it look so easy. They did. They were just some of the cool. Papa Bell. We'll hear about his little bio. This blows my mind. Can you imagine a player that was actually clocked as running the bases all the way around the bases in 12 seconds? Can they do that anymore? 12? I'm not great at math, but that would be like 3, 3, 3, 3, right? So that's flying. And their pregame warm-ups. You know how pregame now, you get to the ballpark early, you watch your team warm up, batting practice, infield, outfield, that kind of stuff. And it's good. I love to see the players, but it was like a show. These guys would come out there, they'd be going behind the back, they'd be juggling, they would be doing drills with a ball, without a ball. They were just so exceptional. These Negro League players, these African Americans, they wouldn't be denied. You know, to get that good, you have to practice every day. They just weren't born that way. They had to practice every day. So through it all, they're going up against all these barriers and obstacles and racism, and they're eating in restaurants that kind of tell them what they can eat, or some that kind of close their doors and say, you can't eat here. They're driving on these broken down buses from game to game. They're going to hotels that say, no, sorry, you're an African American, can't stay here. So they're trying to find houses with like families in small towns. But it didn't hurt their spirit. I mean, they might have had nights when they were kind of a little frustrated and depressed. Maybe they cried at night sometimes, but you know what? They wanted baseball so bad that they fought. And they dug a little deeper. And they were hungry for it. So they worked for it every day. And it showed on the field. This is the part we're actually going to feature. Yeah, okay, so this is great. So am I going to pick them, or do you actually?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is cool. All right, great. And speaking of cool Papa Bell's the first one. So we're going to hear a little bit about some of these amazing players. I'll ask for volunteers first. Does anybody want to step up and actually, all the words are right here for you. You'll hold this up, and you'll read the back of it. And we'll all learn a little bit from you about some of the best players in the Negro National League, in the Negro League. All these are Hall of Famers, by the way. Not in the Negro League Hall of Fame, but in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. You want to start? Come on, bud. Great. What's your first name?
Patrick.
Patrick. Thanks for helping us out. Cool Papa Bell. Tell us about Cool Papa Bell.
I play center field for the state Blues Stars, Homestead Gray,
Yep.
and Pittsburgh Crawford. Many claim I am the fastest
You got it.
man to ever play the game of baseball. I was once
Clocked, right.
clocked, centered the bases in 12 seconds.
Dude, 12 seconds. I'm not that fast. Are you that fast? Dude, that's awesome. All right, keep going.
A private room.
Yep, one of his roommates, Josh Gibson.
Josh
What did he say about him?
Gibson. Cool Papa could flip the light switch and be in bed before the room was dark.
How about that? That's fast.
In 1974, I was
Inducted, yeah.
inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Cool Papa Bell. That was fantastic, my man. Thank you so much for presenting to us. All right, thank you. Wow, door prizes. Thanks, Kelsey. All right. Okay. Ooh. Satchel Paige. Oh my goodness. Wait to hear this part. Yeah, my man. Come on up. Crazy. This guy pitched in the big leagues when he was 59.
Oh my God.
59. Okay. And what is your name?
David Wade.
David. Thanks for helping us out today. You're going to tell us about Satchel Paige.
Okay. I am Leroy Paige.
Yep.
I pitched in the Negro Leagues for the Birmingham Black Barons, Kansas City Monarchs, and Pittsburgh Crawfords. At age 42, I made Major League
Debut. That was his first game at the age of 42. Yep.
and
Pitched for 3 teams.
pitched for the Cleveland Indians, St. Louis Browns, and
Kansas City.
Kansas City Royals. My motto was age is a question for mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Like that. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's good, David. Please read the last part there. I didn't have, when was he inducted in the Hall of Fame? In 1971?
In 1971, he became the first Negro Leaguer to be inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
David, that was Satchel Paige, yeah. Pitched forever. I mean, the stories. If you guys want to read a book, I mean, or do some research on the guy, research this guy, what he did. He was kind of built like me, kind of long and lanky, except that he could throw like 98 miles an hour. And there's a stat that he pitched in 165 consecutive games. These guys would play too. They love baseball so much, they would play like 3 games a day. They'd play doubleheader in the afternoon, game at night. I don't know how he did it. I mean, guys today, they pitch once every 4 or 5 days, whatever, limit on pitches, which is what we need to do, right? Sorry, John. But these guys, I don't know, crazy. Okay, do a couple more. Yeah, we do. Oh my goodness, I kind of trembled when I picked this one. This is Josh Gibson. Okay, thanks. We'll get a. You raise your hand too? You'll be next. Thank you. Josh Gibson. Power hitter. What's your name? Brighton, thanks for helping us out. All right.
I played catcher for the Homestead Grays and Pittsburgh Crawfords. Many believe I was the best power hitter in my era. People refer to me as Black Babe Ruth, and others say Babe Ruth was the white Josh Gibson. Believe it or not, I hit a 580-foot home run out of the Yankee Stadium. I led the Negro League in home runs for 10 consecutive seasons, and I won the Negro League World Series for both Grays and Crawfords. In 1972, I was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Gotcha. Thanks, Brighton. All right. Time for a couple more here. Come on up aside, yeah. I'll let you pick one. They're all great. Okay. Ooh. Player manager. Oscar Charleston. Yeah, what's your first name?
Lily.
Hi, Lily.
I am Oscar Charleston. I was a utility player for the New York Lincoln Giants, Indianapolis ABCs, Chicago American Giants, Detroit Stars, St. Louis Giants, Harrisburg Giants, Kildare Daisies, Philadelphia Stars, and Pittsburgh Crawfords. I was known as one of the best all-around Negro League players due to my ability to play first base, center field, and manage. I won numerous batting titles, stole many bases, and won the Negro League World Series as a manager. In 1976, I was inducted into National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Nice. We'll keep going if we actually have volunteers that do these. We have a couple more. Yeah. Look, everybody's raising. I love that. You guys are raising your hands. You go to some schools, you always get that. I love the spirit in here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Here you go. Take your pick. Smokey Joe. Oh, middle one? Judy Johnson. Judy. Yeah, what's the guy? What's your name?
Ben.
Ben.
I played third base for the Madison Stars, Hilldale Daisies, Homestead Grays, and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. I was a hard hitter, great infielder, and made impossible plays. I frequently got elected team captain and was named Negro League MVP in 1929. People viewed me as the dependable, non-flashy finisher. In 1975, I was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Nice. Thanks, Ben. Oh, yeah. Okay, we have time for one more. Yes. Is there a lady that wants to do this? We've had mostly guys. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thanks. Let's hear about Buck Leonard from you. What's your name?
Grace.
Hi, Grace.
I am Walter Fenner, Buck Leonard. I played first baseman for the Brooklyn Loyal Giants in Homestead Grays. I had a great G-love heck of hitter and drove in runs. From playing to managing the game, I was able to sustain one of the longest careers in Negro League history. I was an advocate for civil rights and went back to complete my diploma at age 52. In 1972, I was indicated into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
How about one more round of applause for all our presenters? You guys you can see I wasn't kidding when I said there were some fantastic players. Playing against fantastic players. That's the thing, they were playing against the best. So this tells you how good they were. Okay, we have time for a couple more slides here. Let's see. Okay, we talked about some of this, the adversity they faced, name calling, pay was low, items thrown at them, denied service at restaurants, harsh traveling, small buses, sometimes they had to sleep on the bus. Yeah, sometimes they had to play in the worst fields, rock fields, and dismissed from MLB because of their race. Anybody know why Curt Roberts is a special player in the history of the Pittsburgh Pirates? Anybody guess?
Their first African American.
Hey, nice job. Did you jump? Yeah. First African American Pittsburgh Pirate was Curt Roberts. Little guy, 5'8", played second base.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's right, Joe. Right. He broke through and he played for 3 years for the Pirates. How about this? September 1st, 1971. Of course, we won our 4th World Series championship in 71, but what a day that was. This was not even by design, but the Pirates fielded the first ever, as they called it, starting lineup of color in Major League Baseball. A mix of African Americans and Latin Americans. Willie Stargell, Gene Clines, Roberto Clemente, Rennie Stennett, Cash Hernandez, Ellis, Sanghi, and Oliver. There were a couple guys that were injured, Richie Hebner and Gene Alley that day on the left side of the infield. So Danny Murtaugh put in a couple other guys, and it was actually not until the 3rd or 4th inning that they were kind of a couple guys on the bench said, this is Al Oliver speaking. Hey, they're all brothers out there. He's like, wow. So they didn't even do it on purpose, but Pittsburgh Pirates will always have the distinction of having the first all African American, Latin American starting lineup. one more slide here. And how about this? We've had 6 MVPs in our history, and 5 of them were either African American or Latin American. Roberto Clemente, the Cobra, Dave Parker, left to right, bottom row, Willie Stargell, Barry Bonds, and Andrew McCutcheon. Okay. So again, it's a great history, the Negro National League, lots to absorb. I mean, this was just like a 20-minute presentation, but there's so much more you can find out in books and online, and it's great to read about it, and to read about the obstacles and the adversity that they overcame in following their dream. Now today we're here at Meadville Middle School not just to share stories and information about the Negro League, but we're also here to recognize a very special person in your area here. Somebody who's done volumes for the Meadville Middle School and the Crawford Central School District today. This is a lady who has been teaching for years, from southern Mississippi all the way through northwestern Pennsylvania. And she's made a real impact on this school. She started the MLK, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mentoring program. And through that, it has inspired Allegheny College students. Are there any college students here today? Oh, there are? Hey, guys. Yeah, guys. Inspired Allegheny College students to come in and help mentor you guys, which is a great thing. To help you guys with your homework and your lessons and show you that you guys can be anything you want to be. You guys have all these natural gifts, and if you want to work hard enough, whatever you dream of, guys, it can happen. It can happen. And they're there to encourage you to do that. So to celebrate the 10th year of this MLK mentoring program, we're recognizing today a very special lady. You all know who it is. Dr. Dixon. We are in full support of Meadville and this fair you have coming up in February to help you with the mentoring program. But we're also here to present Dr. Dixon with her own official Pittsburgh Pirates game jersey with the number 3. With the number 3. Indicating, standing for the values of faith, hope, and love. Let's hear it for Dr. Dixon again.
You care to say anything? Oh my goodness, thank you so much, and thank you, Pirates.
Yeah. And as we wrap up, guys, the special treat for all of you, I mentioned there's a lot of great reading materials on the Negro League. Each one of you today, compliments of the Pittsburgh Pirates, is taking home your very own history of the Negro League. We have the books for them? Right here. Okay. They're going to be passed out to you guys. Thank you so much for your attention. Best of luck the rest of the year. Hope to see you at the ballpark. Thanks for your support of Pirates baseball. And let's go. Can we say let's go Bucks? Let's go Bucks! Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Someone could ask the Pittsburgh Pirates to the Eagles.
Yes.
Over there, sir.
Thank you. I don't have one.
How's it going, everybody? Hey. Not too bad. It's a little cold outside.
This book is I don't want to read this. What if I don't read this? We need one more. I need to take the case off.
Everybody got one here? Everybody get one. Everybody got one. Didn't get one, let us know.
I know. It's
Back.
I didn't get one.
Where at? He's going out there, look at it.
Okay.
Somebody else. You guys should say something now, I feel bad.
Pittsburgh Pirates. When will you pass? That's a good
If you still need a book, please raise your hand. your attention just a couple more minutes as we wrap up here. As we wrap up here, we're going to have a student from the Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program. Her name is Catherine. Y'all guys all know Catherine? Yeah. You have something to present to us, please. Thank you. Let's hear from Catherine right now.
Oh. To Miss Jugovic, Mr. Big Milko, and your entire team, MAMS and the Dr. Martin Luther King Mentoring Program, thank you for the opportunity to meet the Pittsburgh Pirates team. It's an honor to reach out to Nick Birdie, Will Craig, and Jeff Hartley. We now know more about the Pittsburgh Pirate team, who support so many student programs across the state. You have given us so much, and we appreciate it. Thanks to our collaborators, we have something from us.
Oh, okay, students, who's supposed to go first? See, we have this all rehearsed. If you will go up, if you have a water bottle, if you will go up.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Water bottles for the players? I thought I would get a water bottle. No.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Okay, we are the ship. What does that mean? Okay. I don't want this thing, but I have to keep it. Oh, Salvation Army.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, hey guys. What?
Do a great job.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm too scared. I don't want this book. People are going
Go to work now.
Okay. Hey guys, everybody come on up. We're going to do a nice big group shot.
Come on, Dr. Dixon.
Like it. Black and gold. You look great. That's okay.
Abby, I hope you didn't play capture.
Sit down in the front here.
You bend down a little bit so we can see everyone in the back. Perfect. There we go. Good there.
Very good, guys, right here.
1, 2, 3. Let's go, Boss! There we go.
All right, guys. Well, did everybody have fun? How was that? Everybody think that was cool? So I'm interested first. Does anybody want to volunteer? Anybody have anything to say? Anybody want to be on Armstrong Neighborhood Channel? What's your name? Graceland. Graceland. Graceland, I'm curious. What was the most interesting thing that you think happened today? Anything in particular that you could think of, Graceland?
I think that it was pretty cool that we got to like get pictures with them and stuff like that, get books and hats. It was a really nice opportunity.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to get those pictures. Does anybody want to talk about these books that we have here? The We Are the Ship. What are those books that we have? Does anybody want to speak about that? Brighton. I know you, Brighton. Brighton, what are these books that we got here? We Are the Ship. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So We Are the Ship is like it's all the players from the Negro League, and it's like everybody that played. And the Negro League is like they only took African Americans to play for their team, and there were like teams like the Crawfords and stuff like that, and it was a pretty cool book.
Right. Very cool, because really at the end of the day what we were here to do, you know, the Pirates came up and what were we what was this all about? Does anybody want to shout it out? What was this about? The Martin Luther King mentoring program, but also the Long Live Their Legacy initiative, right, for the Pirates, where we're, you know, making sure that we take into account, you know, Black History Month, everything that's going on. Very important program. So I'm curious if anybody wants to talk about who their favorite player was that they had come out. Anybody have any opinions on that? Nobody shout out right at once, all right? You know, we can't have too many people talking. But hey, does anybody remember any of the players? Anybody want to speak about them? Anybody name one? What's your name, buddy?
I'm Travis.
Travis. You a Pirate fan, man? That's awesome, man. Who's your favorite player that you had come out today?
He didn't come out, but my favorite player is Newman.
Very cool. Very cool. Newman. All right. All right. How many people got autographs today? Nice. Everybody get a bunch of pictures too? Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. All right. Well, I guess it's lunchtime, I guess. So we'll let you guys get back to your lunch, all right? All right. Hey, how's it going? This is Ryan Keeby here with Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. I am here with a very special guest, Dr. Dixon, who has put all of this together for us. We're here with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mentoring program. The Pittsburgh Pirates came for us, and you know, I just wanted to see if, you know, you wanted to talk a little bit about the program and everything that it involves, and, you know, what exactly it means to you, because, I mean, it's great stuff that we're doing here in the community, and, you know, I want to give you a chance to, you know, brag about it a little bit, right?
Well, thank you, Mr. Keeby. First, I want to say that it's really a collaborative effort that the Martin Luther King program came about. 10 years ago, Allegheny College professor Dr. Ron Collada said, "Come, I want to talk to you about something." And he said, there's a need for a mentoring program at the middle school. And can we work together to create this? So I went back to our Dr. King board, and I said, let's look into this, because we are certainly interested in young people long before they come to that stage of getting those scholarships. Right. So we all decided to buy into that idea and to do what we could. So we worked with Mrs. Erin O'Day Fry at the college, Jamie Williams at the college, Mr. Joseph Galbo, who's the tax assessor, and on our board, and Dr. Dodge, who was a retired professor at Edinburgh. And of course, we worked with Mr. Lynch. And we spent a whole summer designing the program, researching, seeing, can we really do this in the middle school? You know, even the middle school is getting pretty late. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to make a start. And we got the program approved by the board, the Crawford Central School District Board, and we implemented it. And it's still here. What happened over the last 9 years is that we were here 2 days a week. Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 until 5:30. And then we were very fortunate. The state of Pennsylvania saw something in us. And it's a 21st Century Learning Center now. And that means so much, because the extended day now is Monday through Thursday, each day of the week, those 4 days, and it's from 3:35 until 6:30.
That's awesome.
So those students have a chance, if their parents are working, they have a chance to do their homework, to learn math, science, and communication enrichment, because the state says, you know, this has to be a component. And of course, we were already doing that, but on a small scale. So now we have more time. The students have nutrition and health. They have decision-making things. So we have people coming in from Tobacco Advocacy, Women's Services, K through 12 Education Alliance. All of these people come in to help these students. So from time to time, we have guest teachers. And then we have people in the community who will say, well, you come and learn from me at my site. For example, if you want to learn about Armstrong, you want to be a technician there, who's there to help you with this? So these students are doing career pathway portfolios. And it's amazing what is happening with them.
Very cool stuff.
So, well, we love it. We love it.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, that's very cool stuff. So, I mean, essentially, you know, this program has just, you know, provided the community, you know, here with more resources and stuff, so that they can, you know, do those things that you were talking about that, you know, are so vital for young minds, right?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. And we love it that for the last, now this is our third year, but we bring together agencies, organizations, all of the people who help our students to be who they can really be.
Absolutely.
And they come together in what is called the beloved community. So we look forward to that now. It's a robust activity, but with all of us getting together and the families seeing the people who care about them, and you can be a part of this and that sort of thing, the give and the take, it's fantastic. So that's going to be February 19th. So we're looking forward to the beloved community. Yes.
We're looking forward to being a part of that beloved community as well.
Yes.
I will be sure to see you then, you know.
It wouldn't be complete without Armstrong.
Yes. we appreciate that. We appreciate the opportunity to come out here. And I just wanted to make sure that I showcase this awesome jersey that Dr. Dixon got from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dr. Dixon, you want to turn around and show him the jersey here?
Wait, now I can't remember what you told me to do. Turn this way.
Yep.
And then this way.
You face me, I was just saying.
I face you. And then, I'm
trying.
I'm trying to style. But I do know one day I hope to show up at the PNC Park, and I want these Pirates to recognize my jersey and put me in. Let me play.
Sign her up. You heard it here first.
Right now, I have my number.
Well, hey, thanks again, Dr. Dixon. This was awesome, and we're happy to be a part of it, and look forward to the years to come.
Thank
you
so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.